You will remember, going back about 4 years ago, we began to get Homeland Security internal documents and publish them from state police, federal marshals, FBI, and others, where they were already telling them the number one terror threat is returning veterans, gun owners, libertarians, constitutionalists, land rights activists, end the fetters, Ron Paul supporters. They said that is the threat. That is who you'll prepare for war with. And they've taught every police department in America that takes federal funds for 4 years that they will face U.S. Army and Marines and Navy personnel. Veterans will bomb them with IEDs. Now, we get them the phones up, the cops will all call in and tell you they've been trained for that. That's been in the news after we broke it. People couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it for 4 or 5 days when we first broke the MIAC, then the not just the state-level report, the federal master report, and others. And since then, there's over 100 FBI manuals and flyers given to every business you can imagine, from animal husbandry to tattoos, from barbershops to clothiers, you name it, saying blue jeans, cell phones, a sign of terrorism, but the number one sign, and it says it in the manuals, but I'm about to show you one right now. Not a manual, LA Times. They say being white is the sign of terror. Then 2 years ago, and the story went viral, we wrote an article because we saw someone had posted internal DHS training videos on YouTube. And later, DHS posted the very ones. People didn't think they were real at first, showing them patrolling highways, roads, grocery stores, malls, sporting events. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last week, and I told you it was a big deal, the Southern Poverty Law Center, that is the mouthpiece of the Justice Department. I mean, they ran the informants that ran Elohim City, that ran McVeigh. And they came and said, there's about to be a terror attack by the right wing. Take their rights. And then the building blew up. Oh, they have crystal balls. Oh, no, there's no framing going on. They care. Even though the same deputy director of the time was involved in Oklahoma City is now the Attorney General, Eric Holder, who ran Fast and Furious, false flag, staged event, inside job, black op, Reichstag event, government-sponsored terror, Operation Northwoods, Operation Gladio, Operation Ajax. Search all these terms I'm throwing out. And he went on Slimeball. Mark Potok went on and said, we're putting out another red alert. The new threat is white gun owners. They're going to attack. And in their report and in their letter, and what the letter sourced was their report, guess who's at the top of the list? ALEX, ANDER, JONES. And what does that spell? Alexander Jones. Who is that? You bet. Now, these are known White House toads, operatives, on record, Media Matters, all of it, on record, government funding, government bailout, government stimulus money. Do you understand? Pray for us. We have the White House-run system saying Alex Jones is the new bin Laden. And you know who else they say is evil? Anybody who is right of Mao Zedong. And again, left-right isn't really real. That's a controlled paradigm. But within the right, there is at least lip service to Second Amendment, Bill of Rights, Constitution, private property, family, religious rights. And so they are assaulting anyone who doesn't call for an end of male and female marriage and for world population reduction and death panels and total communism. If you don't endorse total evil, you are a devil. Now, you see I mean, I was on a big Dallas station yesterday. It's the CNN affiliate, Wall Street Shuffle, highly rated show up there in Dallas. And the guy was like, no, I went and looked it up. I called the company. I checked that that's one of the biggest manufacturers, if not the biggest manufacturer in the country of paper targets. They did do a $2 million contract for Homeland Security that requested. The people have done interviews. We broke it. People couldn't believe it, but they've done interviews. They admit, yes, they apologize. Homeland Security asked for the tactical response stuff of 5-year-old kids to shoot and old women and men and people in the shower. Paper targets. And he said, everybody I know, including congressmen that come on my show, cannot believe it. And they won't even say there's 2 billion bullets, even though that's admitted. And he went and checked it, and it was true. That's what we're talking about here. And the LA Times says, if you believe in any of this, you are a, quote, white cell, a terror cell. I'm going to read it in about 10 seconds. Now, how long ago did I tell you? Behind the scenes, the military, the police, arms buildup, prepping for door-to-door gun confiscation. Military training in Arcadia, Iowa. Military training in Dallas, Texas. Military training in Miami. Military training in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Military training in L.A. Military training. And the military's called in, and it's in the Army Times, and it's in the Army manuals. Just type in gun confiscation, a new Army manual, 2010. You'll get Army.mil, gun confiscation, how to process us with our Social Security numbers, how to take over the radio and TV stations, not just by remote control. The military will occupy them, the power plants, the city hall, and they're going to take our guns. And so this unprecedented insanity is going on, and they're saying it doesn't exist, knowing the dumbed-down masses, including members of Congress, will just say, well, 9 out of 10 articles conservatively say it doesn't exist. Politico, you name it, said there is no bullets. They bought no bullets. Oh, they bought 200,000 bullets is what they said. And then this guy, Alex Jones and Sarah Palin, they say it's 2 billion, and they're insane. It was an anonymous posting on a website. They don't say what. It's all lies. I mean, it's all fedbiz.gov, public, all of it, over 2 billion. I was saying 1.6 billion to 3 weeks ago. Breitbart actually counted it all up, and they had the listing, over 2 billion. They're buying 2,700 armored vehicles last year, big giant ones. I've seen them on the road in Austin. They say federal police. They're for here. And they're telling you it doesn't exist, while telling people now in newspapers all over the country. When I saw this LA Times this morning, I went and looked. There are similar articles in AP, Reuters. It's everywhere. Let me show TV viewers, radio listeners, let me direct you to just go to this. It's up on Infowars.com. I'm going to have Kurt Nimmo do another article about this. He wrote about this last week when the letter linking to the sources, and there it is, Alex Jones. King Daddy, they say, I'm numero uno terrorist. I'm a terrorist, ladies and gentlemen, because I point out the mega banks have taken over America, run al-Qaeda in Libya and Syria, and are supporting them and aiding them. And our government grows the opium and runs al-Qaeda and Taliban in Afghanistan. That's all coming out now. Of course I'm the terrorist. Pray for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not afraid. I'm just afraid I won't finish my work if they do kill me. And that's in God's hands. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You better get the word out like your life depends on it, because I'm telling you, the shadow government, I've seen all these preparations before Oklahoma City before. And I've seen them before 9/11. And I'm seeing them now. They've got 4 or 5, 5 TV shows now where the Founding Fathers are terrorists, where returning veterans are secretly al-Qaeda. They're using their own CIA operatives that are joining al-Qaeda to put them on Fox News to kind of blur the lines. Well, there are veterans joining al-Qaeda. Yeah, fighting for the globalist. But they're going to say there's 3 different West Point and Army War College reports the last year and a half saying the Tea Party is going to link up with al-Qaeda. Anybody in the Tea Party knows it's total Islamophobia land. So, I mean, that's just asinine. It's like saying Malcolm X is going to join the Ku Klux Klan or something, okay? But they don't care, because the TV heads are all watching simulants right now, where every show they're watching, the lady that won't vaccine her kids is a child molester. The guy that won't vaccine his kids is going to nerve gas the city. The guy that's a Ron Paul supporter is a meth head. Every show, demon messages, demonizing liberty, getting it ready as simulants for the public. They've got all these movies coming out where, militias attack the White House. So they can stage a false flag, have it be incredibly immoral, what happens, blow up a nursery like Oklahoma City, whatever, and then blame it on us and say, see, we told you so. And they are moving into fire zone. The Death Star is clear to fire in 5 minutes. Politically speaking, 5 seconds. It is coming around, to use a Star Wars analogy. coming around Yavin and is about to be clear to fire, okay? I mean, the Death Star is coming around. And if you're not in your X-Wing out there right now fighting every day to expose these murdering terrorists, they're going to bring in the Red Terror. They're panicked. They're scared. They know we've got the initiative, and this is history happening right now. The Death Star is clear to fire in 5 seconds. That means any minute now, any time. We're in a death struggle to back them off, to expose them so they don't pull it off and they hold back and don't do it. And then when they do it, if they do it, we're going to really be able to deal with them. Because people now know, we got people everywhere watching. The minute they blow something up, folks, get your camera. Everyone should carry cameras on them at all times, okay? At all times. Now let me show you what's in the LA Times. Told you this was coming. Oh, my God. I mean, peril from patriots. The U.S. needs to keep a close watch on the growing threat of homegrown extremist groups. Now it gets worse. Look at who they show as the extremist. Only criminals and government want unarmed public. What part of shall not be infringed you don't understand? Repeal and negate. Now it gets worse. First they say you're radical. Then they say there are an increasing frightening numbers of cells. It's cells of angry men in the United States preparing for combat with the U.S. government. They're usually heavily armed, blinded by intractable hatred. You mean wide awake to your evil, and we know who you are. Often motivated by religious zeal. They're not jihadists. They are white. They are white. Right-wing Americans. They've now announced white men are terrorists. That's the headline, Kurt Nimmo. LA Times announces white men are terrorists.